the 2008 election, and reporter Kate Gardner was on the scene, both on and off campus, to see how students are involved and how vital their vote may potentially be.
And many voters have experienced a spectrum of emotions, ranging from excitement to disgust. According to a New York Times poll, in the presidential race, nearly 10% of voters are still undecided. Amid the chaos, I spoke with members of our community to discuss the importance of the student vote.
Over the past 2 weeks, I attended just 2 of the many political events sponsored by student organizations on campus as part of their efforts to get their fellow students involved in the last crunch leading up to the election. In an attempt to keep students engaged, informed, and entertained, the College Democrats held a third and final presidential debate watching party in Highsmith's Grotto. But this wasn't the only place you'd find students enthralled in the debates, as I was able to catch up with students who tuned in off campus as well. This week, I had the chance to speak with a volunteer at Obama's headquarters on Merriman Avenue, and then members of both UNCA's College Democrats and Republicans at UNCA's Rock the Vote event to hear their take on how important they feel the student vote is in this year's election.
Well, from all I hear, it's an extremely vital role, and because young people basically kind of started this in a way. You know, they're the ones that got it off the ground, and we really need young people to come out and vote and not, lay back and say, oh, my friend's going to do it. We need young people. It's vital.
The youth vote has been really energized in this election, a lot more so than in previous elections. Historically, youth vote hasn't come out that well, but I think this year youth vote is going to come out stronger than before. So it will have an impact that has not been felt in previous elections, that the impact will be a lot greater in this one.
I think in this election, especially, the youth turnout is going to be essential to Barack Obama being elected. He's ahead by 11 points nationwide in the polls, but not only that, he's leading in those battleground states that he needs to win, like Pennsylvania, Ohio, North Carolina, New Mexico. He's leading in all those states, but by only 2 or 3 percentage points, and we know that it's 17 days out, and that's an eternity in politics, and those polls could easily flip. But the important thing to remember is these pollsters aren't calling young people. They're not calling students who have cell phones. And Barack Obama has inspired, more than any other candidate, an entire generation of young people. He's really got them out there excited, energized, engaged. They're active. They're not just going to vote. They're giving up their fall breaks to go and canvass. They're making phone calls. They're putting up yard signs. I've seen so many kids all across the state of North Carolina just getting out there and working their hearts out for Barack Obama. So not only are their votes essential, but what they're doing to get more votes is what's helping out Barack Obama so much in North Carolina and in states all across the nation.
Because the student vote is thought to hold such a crucial role in this year's election, I asked each of these group members how they've worked specifically to reach the student demographic.
For the students, we have Brian Griffin is the field organizer for the students, and there is a specific person who is on the UNCA campus that I know of, and I'm sure there's a similar person on other campuses who are focusing on the student, just like we do right here, a person who's in charge of reminding people about early voting. I guess you would call him a liaison. He doesn't really have a title. What I'm called is super volunteer. So that same person probably on the UNCA campus or other campuses is a super volunteer, just reaching out to the students. They've done things like having concerts and, going to the various clubs around town, handing out early voting literature. Before, when we were registering people, we had people tabling, what we call tables with registration forms for the young people to register. They're on campus or at the various venues where college students would wind up.
Well, we've got different events that we've tried to do. We're actually showing a movie about Barack Obama today and Wednesday, and we've got some working with a one-stop voting booth that's being put up with the College Democrats, kind of getting support together for that and everything, and we've just tried to, we just started this semester, so we're still kind of new, but we're trying to get everything worked out so that we can represent the Republican Party.
These sort of events are great, and this is just one of the many events I'm having to go to today. I'm working every single weekend. I'm doing about 5 or 6 counties a weekend all across the state of North Carolina. It's just so exciting. I've never seen anything like this. I've been involved with politics for 5 years now. I've never seen an election and a candidate that inspired so many people to get out there. And they're doing events like this. I got to go to a hoedown here in an hour. Events all across the state. People are just excited. Young and old, black and white, Democrat, Republican, everyone's excited. I'm talking to Republicans who are saying, I'm a lifelong Republican, but I'm voting for Barack Obama because he excites me. I know he's the change that we need.
In regards to the dangers of voter intimidation tactics and the possibility of loopholes for election fraud, Obama supporters offered their take on how to combat these problems and what to do to stay informed.
This is always an issue we have to be concerned with. It's real. It's not just a fairy tale. It happens. It happened in Ohio and it's happened in Florida. There's voter intimidation tactics everywhere. I mean, even in Pennsylvania a few days ago, there was an effort by a large group of anti-Obama activists who were putting out flyers saying if you had so much as an unpaid parking ticket, you wouldn't be allowed to vote, which is absolutely not true. And there are efforts here in North Carolina to tell people they can't wear their Obama t-shirt into the polling station. That's not true. You can wear whatever you want into the polling station. So we're having to pick up these small little things we're hearing about, through emails and just these underground tactics to try to subvert the vote. But we're working at them, we're combating them as they come to us. Like I said, Barack Obama's leading in the polls. We feel really confident right now, but we're gonna, keep fighting those rumors that just are absolutely false, including Barack Obama's record, what people are saying about who he is friends with. I mean, these things are just efforts by the Republican Party to try to win an election. They know they can't win on if they talk about the economy. They know they can't win if they talk about health care. They know they can't win if they talk about education. So they're having to do these voter intimidation tactics, and it's not working because we're combating it every time we see it. We're playing defense as well as offense, and we're going to keep going for the next 17 days, getting people to go out and vote, registering them to vote, getting them to the polls, and we're going to be fighting on every level to make sure Barack Obama is the next president of the United States.
Now, as far as voter fraud and those sort of things, all I can say is to address what I've heard about the situation here in North Carolina. The people in Raleigh say that they have no concerns about North Carolina. There was a big article in the New York Times about problems, people being purged in North Carolina, when in fact the writer of the article was incorrect. What happened is that the Social Security Administration was overwhelmed with applications from the state of North Carolina to verify identities of people who were registering, and they were just overwhelmed. They weren't expunging anyone in the state of North Carolina. So I can speak to the state of North Carolina.
Whether you're satisfied, infuriated, or apathetic towards our current political situation, your vote could play a critical role in the direction our country takes. For Mountain Highlights, I'm Kate Gardner with photographer Hos Lee.